Hi there, this is Rocco Boxer. This is my first tutorial video, and I'd like to spend some time illustrating how to add gauges and telemetry data to a Mavic Pro video. There's going to be a few steps. I'm going to start and actually create a video that I'll post later, an actual video that I want to use, but I'm also going to do a tutorial video here to just show you all the steps. And the first step is to create a green screen. The second step will be to create a gauge template that we can that we like and use, and we can superimpose on our Mavic videos. And then I'll show you the steps on how to add the telemetry data, and then how to render that video into its own video with nothing more than a green screen, the gauges, and the appropriate data that was recorded during your flight. Then I'll show you how to take that data, that video, and superimpose it and get rid of the green screen, and then you'll have your flight video that your Mavic took with the camera, the telemetry data, and the gauges all in one video. So I'll take you through that process, and right now we're going to start with PowerPoint. Okay, so the next step is to create our green screen PowerPoint. And so what we do is we open up PowerPoint, just open a blank presentation, get rid of the default items here, go up and just go ahead and add a window or a rectangle to your window. And then we have to change the shape fill. We can't pick any of the standard colors. We have to be very specific. Pick a color model that's going to work well as a green screen. And for that, you use red as 0, green is 177, blue is 64. And I went out and looked that up. I wanted to find out what filmmakers used, and that's it. Those are the settings. So now we just save that. We're not going to save it as a PowerPoint, though. We're going to save it as, I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Okay, and simply and we're just going to do the one slide, and that's it. So now you have your template for your green screen. Okay, so now the next step is to take that template that we built in PowerPoint and create basically a blank video with about 10 minutes or whatever your typical flight's going to be. I pick 10 minutes. I typically don't fly over 10 minutes. And so I will create a 10-minute green screen with my video editor. My favorite is Adobe Premiere Elements 15. I like it because you can just buy it once and you don't have a monthly fee. So that's the one I chose, and it's pretty self-explanatory how to use it. It's not too bad. So we're going to add media. We're going to go Files and Folder. We are going to go to our tutorial. We have this presentation 1. That's what we saved before. I'm just going to open that and then drag that into the main video for this. And then I'm going to extend that out maybe, about 10 minutes or so. And all you do then, bring it out as far as you like. All you do then is, if you go back here and you can play, you can see it's not that exciting. It's just simply a green screen. I can play here, and it plays the green screen. That's it. So now I want to take that and export it into a real video. And for me, I'll use 1080p, medium quality. You give it a name, location, and then you save it. And it takes about, for me, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to render and create a video from it. I won't bore you with that. I already did it before, so I'll just open that up and show you what the next step is. Okay, so now the next step is to get our telemetry data off the device. The device I'll use is the iPad. That's what I used to fly with. You can do the same thing with the Android, and you can find videos out there on how to do that. But for this case, we're just going to focus on the iPad. So connect your iPad to your computer. You open iTunes, go to this little icon right over here, and then you go to file sharing. And those apps that allow file sharing will be shown here. We have the DJI Go app that we use, and you click that, and you go to flight records, and then you save it. Now you can't see any of the files in there, but all your flight records will be contained in there, and we're going to show you how to render those as another step after this. So let's save it. We'll save it to our project, which is the Gauge tutorial, and that's where it is. So I'm going to select the folder, and those are now saved. They're saving here. And so when that's complete, then this step is complete. Okay, now that we've exported our flight data, this is the folder here. Remember, we went to Gauge tutorial. That's where we put it. And if you go in the file called flight records, you can see all your flight records. It keeps them all. So you'll need to reference later on. You know, this is the flight that I took today on the 14th. And by the way, this little 17:53:47, that's actually the time that I took that flight, and that's when it saves it off. It was about 6 o'clock that it was saved. So it's about a 7-minute flight, and it was saved at 6 o'clock. That's what that information is. So that's the folder that it's in. But what we have to do is take that file. If we open it up, it's just gibberish. It's encrypted. And so we can't read that with Dashware. So we have to actually convert that file to a CSV. So there's a website called AirData that'll do that for us. It's free. Just basically go to airdata.com, and I'm already logged in. So this is where I've been keeping my flights, and so I have one from yesterday. Excuse me. And now I'm going to upload a new flight. And so you'll select the file, and we're going to go to our folder that we put those flight records in, and go down to the new file and open it up. And then we're going to say upload it. Takes a few seconds. A lot of data in there, so it takes some time. Okay, so there it is. So that's where I actually flew. So it opens up to Google Maps and shows you where it is. You can look at all the different information. It shows you the iOS I'm using, DJI 4.1.2. My landing battery was 78. My takeoff battery was 100. And it gives you all the information. I flew about 3,600 feet. The max distance was 1,785 feet. My max altitude and so forth. So what we need to do is render this information into something we can use. So we're going to download the CSV. And we're going to say save it. And that's been completed. And so now we'll open it. I'm sorry, we won't do that. So now it's saved, and we go to our download file. And you'll see, here's that CSV just happened. So we're going to take that, and we are going to cut it, and we're going to put it into our file. Okay, so now we've got the CSV, and these files are the little segments that I'm doing as I record this. So there you go. Now we've got the telemetry data, and we have our green screen template, and now we can combine those in the Dashware software, and we should be good to go. That ends this section. So now we're on to the next step, and that's to create our Dashware template for our gauges. And so what we'll do is we'll open up Dashware, and we'll start a new project in there. Remember, Dashware is something you can download for free. Just search for it and download it. It's pretty easy to find. We'll just say OK here. This is a default that it has. It doesn't have our video in. It doesn't have our data yet. But what we're going to do is get rid of these default gauges. We don't really want those. We're going to do something better. Okay, so those are cleared. Now I need to go get my green screen template as my video. Got that. And you'll see it's 10 minutes. Remember, we saved it. It was 10 minutes long. And then now I have to go get sorry, let's skip that step. Let me get my gauges. So if you go to the gauge toolbox, you'll see tons of gauges that are in here. We don't need all of those. We just need the UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle gauges. And if you've watched my videos, you know I like this one, which you just add to the video. That's done. And then I like this one here, and I like these to be in black. And so now I'll bring that a little bigger. You can size them, you can change them. You can do a lot of things here. We're going to do the simple things by just adding a couple and resizing them. Okay, so now that is my gauge template with my green screen template. I don't have any data yet. I didn't add the data, but I want to save this project as my template. So I'm going to save as. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to save as green screen Dashware template with gauges. Okay, so I want to figure out where to put that. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my tutorial. And save it. There. So now it's saved. Now, that's the one I'll open every time. But in this case, on my project, I've got to add that specific data that that telemetry data that I just rendered with air data. And so I want to get that CSV file. So now I'll get the CSV file, and I have to browse for it. Here it is. We saved it under Gauge Tutorial. Open it up. It's a Flytrex file. If it doesn't show you the data profile, doesn't go to Flytrex automatically, just go in there and choose it. There's a whole bunch of different formats. You want Flytrex for this particular thing. We're going to add that file, and now it's added. And you can see now, if I play the video, you see the time moving, you see the video advancing, and pretty soon you're going to start to see the altitude increase and the vertical speed, and I'm starting to rise the drone. This is the takeoff part of the drone. Can't see the video yet, but we'll render the video on top of this later. But now you have everything you need to create the video of the data. Now there's one thing I'll do. We did a 10-minute video template, but we don't need to wait around for 10 minutes of this to render and then only to chop it later. So what I'm going to do is advance this along and watch the numbers. You can see you'll start seeing the altitude decrease because that's the landing, right? So now you're starting to see the altitude decrease. Remember, we know the video was about 6 minutes long or so. And so now I've got 0 altitude almost. Here we go. And it's landed. So now let's just shorten this up. Whoops, pause it there. Let's shorten this up to there. Okay? And that should be all we need. So now what we have to do is go to File, and let's create a video with this. Here we are, creating the video. I'm going to, this is where the source information is, but I have to set the destination file. So let me browse to that. I want to go back to our project file, which is Gauge Tutorial, and I notice I misspelled green there, but no big deal. We'll change that later. I'm just going to call this my quarry gauge file. The video that we'll use this with was one of a quarry, a local quarry that I flew over today. So I'm calling it quarry gauge file. And I am going to save that. and I'm going to create that video. And it's going to take some time. It says it's going to take about 8 minutes. We'll come back to that once it's done, and we'll be done with this next step. Now we're ready to use what we've built so far and actually put together a video. So I open up my video editor, which is Adobe Premiere Elements 15. By the way, I'm not endorsing anything in this video. I'm just showing you what I use and giving you a little bit of a review on them, but by no means is any of this an endorsement. So the first thing we have to do is go get our main video that we shot with the drone, and I put that under Quarry, and that's this one here. I'm going to go ahead and open that, and now it's in my collection. And then I have to add the green screen that we built with the gauges. There's our Quarry gauge file that we just created. Add those two, drag that into the first spot for video 1, drag the green screen into video 2. Now clearly this doesn't have any kind of a audio, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that audio part. You can see they're approximately the same size, which is good. And let me just play. And now there is a step we have to do, which is called synchronization. We have to sync the data with the video. You can see it was kind of windy today. I flew anyway. Got some warnings actually, but it turned out okay. So this was my target here, this big quarry that's in near our house here. And so I wanted to catch that. I've never seen it, driven by it a bunch of times, heard about it. But now that I have my drone, I can kind of fly over and check it out. So you can see the data is changing along with the video, but there is a little bit of synchronization that we're going to need to do. And so that'll be our next step. But right now we have a green screen video with our gauges superimposed on our actual Mavic Pro video, and that was our mission. And so now we have a template to use for other projects, as well as the data that's applied to the template for this specific project. Okay, so that's the last step. A few more steps to synchronize. I'll show you that. That's the last step of creating the video. You just have to do the synchronization. Now the last step, we're going to synchronize the data in the telemetry with the actual video of the drone. What I like to use for that sync point is the takeoff. Okay, so let's just watch this for a second. But let's you'll see that they're out of sync. Let's watch. Turn the gauges back on. Okay, so you'll see the drone. Okay, the drone is already starting to rise, but you see it's at 5 feet, but it's still on the ground. So obviously the two videos are out of sync. So what we're going to do is fix that. It's pretty easy. I've seen some other video explanations out there to learn this, but I really didn't like them. They made them way too hard. I'm going to make this real easy for us. Okay. So in my editing program, this Adobe Elements, I can turn off either video. So let me turn off the video where we're seeing, the video of the landscape. I'm going to turn that off. So all we have is our gauges. All right, and I'm going to start to play that, and I'm going to watch when this altitude starts to go up. Okay, so let's watch. I already did it. It's about 7 minutes and 7.14 seconds. Okay, so there, it's at 8.23. I paused it. It's already 5 feet off the ground. Let's back it up. I already know it's 7:14. I'm cheating a little bit, but I'll go back to 7:14, and you'll see it go to 0. There. So this video I need to trim at 7:14. All right. So you write that down, piece of paper, and then let's now go back to our landscape video, turn off the gauge video, and let's let's start that. Now let's carefully watch for when the drone is actually going to take off, okay? And I know that's going to happen at 8:20, 8.2 seconds. There it goes. So now I have to back up, and if you watch, 8.2, maybe 8.19, if you want to be exact. That's probably a little closer. I didn't catch that before. So 8.19. So what I want to do now is I want to trim this video and get rid of that chunk that didn't really do anything, that was off, the 8.19 piece. Gone. Okay? Now I want to go back, turn that back on, turn this off. I want to trim this one to 7.14. So let me roll to there 7.15, come back to 7.15, 7.14 I mean, and then trim that one. Delete that piece. Drag this over and even them up. And now, if I turn on the landscape type video, I should see instantaneous altitude increase while the two are synced together. Now this is going to show a lot better later when I render it and so forth. This is just the editing software. It's a little choppy. But that's it. Now I have a synced video. So that's it. You've got your video now with the gauges superimposed. You got your telemetry data synced and available so that you can geek out a little bit on your videos. You don't want to probably do this on all your videos, but it sure is fun to do on some when you're doing tests for altitude or distance or speed or anything else. Pretty fun, and I enjoyed learning how to do it, but I also enjoyed putting this video together. It's my first tutorial. If you liked it, I'd appreciate a like. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll get back to you and try to answer all the questions that we have out there. And if you want to see my future videos that I drone around with, I'd appreciate a subscription. Why don't you click the subscribe, and then we'll see some more videos and tutorials in the future. Thanks a lot.